Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tutorium in Intensive English. My name is Katie. Today's pronunciation module is about something I like to call a sound creation. Okay, what exactly is a sound creation? This is something that you may hear referred to as palatalization or coalescence. I thought that those were very technical sounding terms, so I wanted to use a term like sound creation because that's really what's happening here. In a specific environment, when some sounds come into contact with each other in those certain specific environments, they are creating a new sound, okay? A little bit later, I'll explain where the palatal part of palatalization comes from. Maybe that term will make more sense, but you don't really need to use those fancy terms. Just know that we're creating a sound. And why does this happen? Well, it's a type of assimilation. It's related to assimilation, which we talked about in our last module. And remember, we talked about how these kinds of things happen because our mouths are trying to make speaking easier for us, right? But it doesn't necessarily make being a listener easier, right? Am I right? So that's my job, is to help you as the listener of English. I'm here to help make your job easier. All right. So that brings me to my next slide. How can this idea of sound changes or palatalization help us? Why do we care? Well, like I said, it can help our listening skills. It raises our awareness of what native speakers do and what native speakers are going to do when they are speaking to us. And hopefully being aware of this will improve our overall listening, and especially when we are in conversational settings. And if we feel like an improvement has happened in our conversational English, our ability to have conversations, that's going to build our confidence. And that is fantastic. That's what I want. I want us to be confident. Now, with speaking, if we get to the point where we can do some of these things in our speaking, of course, that will improve our fluency and our rhythm. But I just want to say right here that producing these things that I'm going to show you in this module and the next module, completely not necessary. You don't need them. You don't need them to be communicative, but they're not necessary to our communicative competence. And that's a fancy word for our ability to, interact in English. So don't stress. That's the main bottom line. Okay, let's break this down. We're going to be talking about two sound creations today. Now, sound creation number one, these are all going to be consonant vowel interactions. So this is when consonants and certain vowels come into contact with each other, they're going to create new sounds. In this case, we have the consonant sound S followed by the semi-vowel sound Y. Now I have it here transcribed as a Y, but you may also see it in some dictionaries transcribed as a J, which is also the Y sound. Just depends on which phonetic transcription you're getting, okay? And this creates a new sound, sh, right? This is the sound at the beginning of the word show, or when you want someone to be quiet, that sh sound. So let's look at some examples. Now, S followed by Y, creating sh. I'm going this year. I'm going this year. I'm going this year. This helps you. This helps you. This helps you with pronunciation. This helps you. Helps you. It's kind of like helps you. There's a shoe. Helps you with pronunciation. I'm going this year. This helps you with pronunciation. And toss your bag over there. Toss your bag. Toss your bag over there. So one more time. I'm going this year. This helps you with pronunciation. Toss your bag over there. Give that sh sound. Okay, let's look at our diagram a little more closely. We'll break down what's going on here. Now, when we make an S sound, we are making it kind of in a similar place where we talked about the N last module. That ridge behind your teeth is important to S. So kind of feel that ridge right behind your teeth. There's like a hard ridge. And the S, not exactly the tip of our tongue, it's just a little bit back from the tip of our tongue. And the other important thing about S that was different from our N sound is that your tongue doesn't completely touch the roof of your mouth, right? Let's make an S. So you can feel kind of like the sides of your tongue and that middle part of your tongue are pushing against the top, that hard ridge behind your teeth. And the air is still flowing freely out of your mouth. So the air is never completely stopped when you're making an S sound. All right. And when we make our semi-vowel sound Y, it's made further back in our mouth, in an area of our mouth that we refer to as our palate. And like I said, that is where we get that fancy term, palatalization. So basically this Y sound is making S more in our palate. It's pulling the sound back, a little further back in our mouth. So we get that shh, because when you make shh, you notice that your tongue is getting closer to the palate part of your mouth and not that point right behind your teeth. So that kind of breaks down a little bit where we get that terminology. Don't worry about using the term palatalization. You don't have to. All right, let's talk about sound creation number 2. Okay, so we have the consonant sound Z, which is made exactly in the same spot as S. So we're not going to go back to our diagram because S and Z are basically the same sound, except one is voiceless, S, and one is voiced, Z, Z. So you can feel that vibration in your throat. So we have consonant sound Z followed by the semi-vowel Y. What happens? It creates the sound Z. One of my favorite sounds. It's such a pretty sound. Z. This is the sound in the middle of the word vision, right? Vision. Also at the beginning of the word genre, you know, that fancy word to talk about, you know, movie genres and book genres. You won't find that at the beginning of any English words, though. Any words that have je at the beginning are all words that we have borrowed from other languages, okay? Let's see here. So let's look at some examples. Where's your car? Where's your car? Where's your car? These are the areas you'll visit. These are the areas these are the areas you'll visit. These are the areas you'll visit. Okay. Now what? Remember, I want you to listen for these sounds. Don't feel like you have to produce these sounds. Don't pressure yourself to produce, especially if you're still working through a lot of pronunciation things. I don't want you to rush into this because it could have, instead of making you more clear and easier to understand, it could have the opposite effect and make you actually harder to understand. Okay, so you can be fully understood without making these sound changes yourself. The reason why we wanted to focus on these in today's module is because I want you to listen for them. When you hear native speakers making them in fast, connected speech and you are aware that they're making them, you'll be less likely to misunderstand and less likely to maybe need clarification because you'll start to become used to hearing them. Your ears will become trained to noticing them. And hopefully that will make you feel more confident, even if you're not using them yourself. All right. So that is it. It was a pretty short module today. Keep your ears open and I will see you next time.